Hello students, how are you? Today we are going to take up an interesting poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. This poem is written by the famous American poet Adrienne Rich. Rich was an American poet, essayist, and feminist. This particular poem is also related to feminism. Rich was born in the year 1929 and she passed away in 2012. She was called one of the most widely read and influential poets of the second half of the 20th century and was credited with bringing the oppression of women and lesbians to the forefront of poetic discourse. Her ideas on feminism, her views on feminism, which are also relevant to this particular poem, her works on feminism are revolutionary. Her views on equality and the need for women to maximize their potential can be seen as progressive during her time. According to Rich, society as a whole is founded on patriarchy and limits the rights of women. This is Adrienne Rich. Let us move to this poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. The poem discusses the theme of suppression of women in a patriarchal society. In a male dominated society, a married woman faces many restrictions and constraints. The theme of this poem is tyranny of marriage for a married woman. It talks about Aunt Jennifer. There is a middle aged woman, a married woman, and she is shown as weak and submissive. Let us first read the poem. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz, denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the man beneath the tree, they pace in sleek chivalric certainty. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. When Aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing proud and unafraid. This poem has three stanzas of 4 lines each. Let us look at the rhyme scheme. In the first stanza, the rhyme scheme is AABB. In the second one, again you will find a similar rhyme scheme. These 2 lines end with rhyming letters, rhyming words, and these two, they also rhyme. So the rhyme scheme is AABB. The poem looks simple, but you will find it covers a number of themes and it can have a number of interpretations. What the situation is, there is a woman, Aunt Jennifer, and she is making a design on an embroidery panel. She is making an embroidery design on a panel. And what she is designing? She is making tigers. Before I proceed with explanation, have you ever given it a thought that our societies, almost everywhere, are patriarchal? Don't you think patriarchy is deeply entrenched and male dominance and its consequence, female subjugation. These are these are norms everywhere. These are common things everywhere. These are not exceptions. If you look closely, you will find little kids right from our childhood. We find this thing that patriarchy, it is enforced by the social structures. Why is it that girls are always given dolls or kitchen sets to play? Why is it that boys are generally given guns or bikes or trucks as toys? Okay, let's move to the poem. Stanza 1. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the man beneath the tree, they pace in sleek chivalric certainty. The first stanza, it talks about the tigers which were made by Aunt Jennifer. Now, ask yourself a question. Why is Aunt Jennifer drawing these tigers? Why she is making these tigers, creating these tigers on an embroidery panel? Why not any other animal? Why not rats or cats or cows? Why tigers? What could be the reason? When you think of tigers, what comes to your mind? When you think of tigers, what comes to your mind? Confidence, grace, and elegance. You also think about courage. Okay, so Aunt Jennifer, she is making these tigers. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. The word prance, it means to walk with raised steps. To walk with raised steps. And walking with raised steps, it shows confidence. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. Now, what is this screen? This screen is a panel on which Aunt is making an embroidery design. Okay, she is making a design, an embroidery design on a panel, and what this design consists of? It consists of tigers. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen, bright topaz, denizens of a world of green. The color of the tigers is bright topaz. Now, what is topaz? Topaz is a semi-precious stone. It is yellow colored stone, a silicate mineral of aluminium. It is called pukhras in Hindi. This one. So Aunt Jennifer, what she is doing? She is making tigers which are colored yellow. Now question arises, why this word topaz has been used? Adrienne Rich simply could have used yellow, bright yellow, but why topaz? To show the tigers are precious. Bright topaz, denizens of a world of green. The word denizens, it simply means inhabitants. Now, tigers are natural inhabitants of a forest. So, in that embroidery design, tigers are shown walking in a forest, world of green. They do not fear the man beneath the tree. And in that embroidery design, tigers are seen walking in a forest, and there are some men who are sitting under a tree, beneath the tree, but the tigers are not afraid of those men. So tigers, they are fearless. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. The tigers, they have a sleek motion. They move in a smooth manner, in a certain manner, which shows confidence. And the word chivalric. Now, before I tell you the meaning of the word chivalric, let us find what the word chivalric means. Now, this is a word which is taken from Middle Ages during the time of knights. Chivalric. The word is derived from chivalry. Chivalry or the chivalric code is an informal and varying code of conduct developed between 1170 and 1220, more than 800 years ago. And uh, in Cambridge English Dictionary, the word chivalry is described as very polite, honest, and kind behavior, especially by men towards women. The system of behavior followed by knights in the medieval period of history that put a high value on honor, kindness, and courage. So, the word chivalric, it has a sense of honor, courage, politeness, especially towards women. So, the tigers, these are confident, graceful, elegant, fearless, chivalric. Now, once in board exam, a question was asked about this particular paragraph was given, this particular stanza was given, and students were asked about which two action verbs have been used here. One is prawns, another is space. Okay, these are the two action verbs. Stanza 2. The first stanza was about the tigers, the second stanza is about Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer is completely opposite to the tigers which she has drawn, which she has created on that embroidery panel. Aunt Jennifer, she is not confident, she lacks confidence. Aunt Jennifer, she is afraid, she is not fearless, afraid of her husband. And her movement is not graceful, not elegant, not sleek. Her fingers are trembling. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. Fluttering means trembling. Through her wool, find even the ivory needle hard to pull. She is using that wool and ivory needle to make embroidery design of the tigers. Her fingers are fluttering. Why? Because she is a married woman in a male dominated society. She is weak. She is submissive. The massive weight of uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Her husband, uncle, has gifted her a wedding band. This wedding band can also mean wedding ring. And this ring, this wedding band is so heavy that she is finding the ivory needle hard to move, hard to pull. The massive weight of uncle's wedding band. So this thing actually shows the weight of wedding band. It shows burden of marriage on a woman. Burden of marriage on a woman in a male dominated society, in a patriarchal society. Now a question arises, why Aunt is designing tigers? Aunt is designing tigers because Aunt Jennifer wants, she wishes to be like tigers. She wants to become like those tigers. Her desire is to be fearless, confident, like the tigers which she had made on that embroidery panel. Last stanza, stanza 3, the future. Now, what is going to happen in future? These two lines, they talk about future of ant. These two lines talk about the future of tigers. When aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordals she was mastered by. Ordals. Ordals means difficult and unpleasant situations. And unpleasant situations. Aunt is dead. If you look at the first lines of these three stanzas, you will notice one thing. And what is that? Let us analyze. First stanza, first line, you find that Aunt Jennifer, this word is there. In the first line of second stanza, again you find Jennifer. But in the first line of the third stanza, the word Jennifer is missing when Aunt is dead. Why? What is the significance of this? The significance is that in the last stanza, perhaps the poet is talking about all the married women in a male dominated society. Not one particular aunt, not one Jennifer, but all the married women. Okay, aunt simply means married woman here. So when one particular aunt Jennifer is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeal she was mastered by. Even in death, her hands will remain terrified. She will not become fearless. Why terrified? Because on her hands she had that wedding band, that wedding ring. And that ring which was a symbol of burden of marriage, of patriarchal society. So one aunt is dead, one Jennifer is dead, but things are not going to change. Even after death, there will be difficult and unpleasant situations for all the married women in a male dominated society. Now, what about the tigers? What is their future? The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, proud, and unafraid. The tigers, they will remain the same, they will survive, they won't die, they'll remain confident, they'll walk with raised steps, they'll remain proud, they'll remain fearless. Now, these tigers represents here masculine strength. As I told you earlier, that there are multiple interpretations. Tigers represent masculine strength. They also represent immortality of artwork. One Leonardo da Vinci is dead, but Mona Lisa is still there. So the tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing proud and unafraid. If we consider these tigers as artwork, so art remains immortal, it never dies. If we consider these tigers as symbols of masculine strength, so male dominated societies will remain. So the poem ends on a pessimistic note, on a hopeless note. Fine. Now let us look at the literary devices or figures of speech. Metaphor. What is a metaphor? When dissimilar things are compared directly. For example, In this poem, you will find the word topaz is used to describe the color and preciousness of the tigers. So this is an example of metaphor. Pun: when a word has more than one meaning in a particular context and all the meanings are true, are correct. For example, ringed. Which are the two meanings of ringed? If you look at the third stanza, you'll find this line: still ringed with ordeal she was mastered by. Aunt Jennifer, still ringed with ordeal she was mastered by. Ringed. The word ringed has got two meanings here. One meaning is that Aunt Jennifer, she was surrounded by ordeals, surrounded by difficult and unpleasant situations. Ringed. Okay, to be surrounded by. Second meaning, she was wearing a wedding ring. So, literary device pun in the word ringed. Transferred epithet. The word epithet, it simply means adjective. And when an adjective or epithet is used to describe one thing, is transferred to another thing. For example, terrified hands. We know that terrified, it's a feeling, it's a state of mind, and this is associated with a person with mind. But here the adjective terrified is transferred to hands. Okay, so this is an example of transferred epithet. Instead of terrified hands, if the poet has said terrified aunt, then there would not have been any literary device. But she is uh, she is using this expression terrified hands. She has transferred terrified from Aunt Jennifer to her hands. And why only hands? Why not legs? Because she is wearing a wedding ring. Okay. Now alliteration. There are many examples of alliteration in this poem. What is alliteration? When there is repetition of initial consonant sounds in two or more neighboring words or syllables. For example, sleek chivalric certainty. Fingers fluttering. You will find repetition of the sound f. Prancing proud. Repetition of the sound p. Symbolism. And this poem is also rich in symbols. There are many symbols used in this poem. Tigers. Tigers, as I told you, symbolize masculine strength. Tigers also symbolize immortality of art. And tigers, they have one more meaning: inner desire of a married woman. Which married woman? Aunt Jennifer. So tigers are symbolic. Tigers are symbols of masculine strength, inner desire, and immortality of art. Aunt Jennifer, she is a symbol of married woman in a patriarchal society, in a male dominated society. Embroidery. Now, embroidery is something which is associated in traditional societies with work done by women. The wedding band or ring, it is a symbol of burden of marriage. burden of marriage on a woman in a male dominated society. So this is what the poem is about. So all of you keep learning. Take care and best wishes. Thank you.